I'm writing a letter to Vince.
Dearest Vince, my name is Simon Miller, a long-term wrestling fan, and all I ask is that you please start putting some atmosphere into your shows, be that piped sound or just have some people in the crowd making noise, because I can't handle the deathly silence anymore. If you do this, I promise to say the words you love the most. Brett screwed Brett. Love you much, Simon Miller.
I sent it, fingers crossed it gets there, and we can just sort that out, because these shows are fine. They're not the best I've ever seen, but if you could just pump in some kind of atmosphere, I would appreciate it. And also, before anybody mentions this, there's a story I'm going to tell you at the end, because I'm just that kind of a guy. But my name is Simon Miller, and it's time to up those downs for SmackDown, and it's the SmackDown, the go-home show for Money on the Roof. What did we learn? Let's find out. We weren't mucking around with SmackDown because we were into the nitty-gritty faster than Mojo Rawley disappears from our television screens. Because not only did we have a promo from Mandy Rose saying, I hate Sonya Deville, but we had a promo from Sonya Deville saying, well, I hate Mandy Rose. And then we transitioned straight into the match. And did they wrestle? No. Did they try and strategically outthink the other person? No. Did they have a big fight and try and punch each other in the face because they hate each other, as I just said? Yes, they did. That storytelling, people, is get it up. Deville ripped Mandy's fake eyelashes off at one moment, which, yes, to be fair, would be the equivalent of just rubbing off somebody's lipstick, but it was a good visual, and wrestling's all about the visuals, and for a good while, Sonya was just murking on Mandy, especially because Rose had that injured leg for last week. But then all of a sudden, Mandy was like, wait, what am I doing? She exploded, and she was chucking Sonya Deville outside, including over the announce table. Now, if this was the real world, that would be a disqualification, but it never is in the universe of wrestling. And also, within WWE's hierarchy, that finish is boring finish number 2. And you know that they always go for finish number 1. And what is finish number 1? I hear you cry, well, it's the most devastating move to the robot in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, because that's what Sonya Deville did. She was like rocking around the place and thought, screw this, I'm gonna bust it out right now. She rolled up Mandy Rose and she got the 1, 2, 3. So we bring down my counter. I'm going for 30 because I'm 99% sure I've missed some. 30 surprise roll-ups. It's May. WWE, straight up, you overused this finish. I mean, there is genuinely no move with a higher success rate. I truly believe if someone got a gun out and shot their opponent, that wouldn't beat as many people as the most devastating move in sports entertainment. And that sounds dumb, but I mean it. Maybe I'm just dumb. Still, I like this feud. The narrative is really good. They're executing everything, I would say, perfectly. Who knew that Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose would be the MVPs of 2020? And in fact, because I forget about it all the time, they are winning the SVP award for the week. Simon's valuable player, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm giving you an award, and I'm sure that makes you feel great inside. Why wouldn't it? We then had the stupidest match ever. It was the New Day teaming with the Lucha House Party to take on Miz and Morrison and the Forgotten Sons. But this is the tag team title match we're having at Money on the Roof, although they'll be in separate teams, and here we just smudge them all together. That is like feeding somebody 76 desserts and then wheeling out their main course and being surprised that they don't want it. You already filled them up with desserts. Unnecessary. Down. And I know they were in bigger teams here, like I just said, but one, why would any of them agree to this? Like, if I was a New Day, I'd be like, I don't want to team with the Lucha House Party. They're gunning for my back. And 2, it's still the same kind of flow we will get at the weekend. I just didn't understand. With that said, it was really good. Of course it was. Look at who was involved. I'm not going to stand here and be mean when people are putting in such a high effort. So for the match itself, let's get it up. It was just everybody going nuts from minute 1 to minute end. And I want to specifically shout out the Lucha House Party and John Morrison, who are so athletic, it doesn't even make any sense. Towards like the latter part of this, they were just moving around like a dog chasing his tail. I was like this, I can't keep up, what is going on? And in a decision that will surprise absolutely nobody, it was of course the Luchas who did take the pin, because The Miz blind tagged himself in at one point. Lince Dorado had no idea what was going on, and he got skull-crushing finale right into the match. And indeed, he got his shoulders pinned for the 1, 2, 3. And the best thing about this is because it's so deadly quiet, you even heard Lince Dorado after we got hit going, "Oh no, my face, it really hurt." I could use more of that. Miz and Morrison were then civil with the Forgotten Sons afterwards, which again just blew my mind, but whatever. For an empty arena match, this one ticked most of the boxes. Baron Corbin cut a promo after this and promised to murder and kill everybody during the Money on the Roof match, and specifically said maybe he'll chuck Rey Mysterio off said roof. But look, we just gotta put it to bed now. If somebody's going off the roof, please WWE, please, look, I'm gonna bend down a little bit. Make it AJ Styles. I wanna see AJ Styles be hurled off the top, and then I want him to come back on Raw as he did recently and just no-sell it. I want him to come out, get a microphone and go, I got chucked off a roof, so what? Who cares? And then we can transition into having the immortal AJ Styles. I need that in my life. In fact, I want that character more than life. That means I'm dead. Just do it. Jeff Hardy was then back. Woohoo! Even though he came back a few weeks ago and lost to Baron Corbin. But forget about that. That doesn't fit the story you're trying to tell, so take out your brain and throw it over there. He also said to Renee Young that he had swanton bombed off of mountains. No, you haven't, Jeff Hardy. Don't you come out here and lie to me. Although, to be fair, I'm sure if there was some kind of mountain match, Jeff would have gone, "Oh yeah, I'd like to jump off the mountain, please." And Vince McMahon would go, "Yeah, jump off the mountain." Because for some reason we want to kill Jeff Hardy. There was an awkward moment where he started chanting for himself because, of course, we don't have any fans. He just went, "Hardy, Hardy," and that did go against Ups and Downs rule number 45, which of course states never chant for yourself in an empty arena because it's a little bit cringeworthy. I'm just letting you know. It don't really compute. Eventually Sheamus arrived and he was pissed, especially before this when he was in the back watching Jeff's promo and just talking and shouting over the top of it. It was essentially a real life reenactment of what YouTube comments are. The point is, the Irish curse thinks Hardy has had enough chances. He doesn't deserve all this celebratory nonsense, so he is now going to walk down to the ring and boot him in the face. And while he tried to do that, somewhat hilariously, Sheamus just got his ass kicked. I mean, Jeff Hardy pulled the trigger and he was flying around the place and giving him swanton bombs, not off a mountain this time, just off the top rope. And I laughed. I don't know why. I just didn't see it coming. I mean, Jeff got in so much offense here, he was even able to run back up the ropes and just go, "Ah!" I have no idea who he was screaming to, but he did scream. So it was simple stuff, but I like it. Sheamus thinks that Jeff Hardy gets a free pass, so he is going to be the person to try and, smash some reality back into his brain. That's all right. That's cool. Up. The program between Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, though, has one distinct issue, and here it was laid to bear. It's getting it down. And what is that? Well, it's as simple as this. As soon as Braun Strowman had a microphone in his hand, and he barely waited half a millisecond before he started talking, he went, "Bray Wyatt, you think you know me, but you don't know me. What's that? You think you know me? Nobody knows me, only I know me, and maybe my mum knows me." Like he was singing Edge's theme lyrics. It's just so obvious he's been scripted out of his ass, whereas Bray Wyatt then swans down to the ring and acts like he's trying to win an Oscar, and it's too glaringly different. It's like slapping me in the face all the time, and I'm like, this is kind of uncomfortable to watch. And that was the whole deal here as well. Wyatt wants an apology, but Braun Strowman said, "I'm not going to give that to you. I don't hand out sorries." And then all of a sudden the puppets were begging Braun to come back to the Firefly Funhouse, and so was Bray. And again, this was eerie and it was creepy. There was just a disconnect. He refused again because "you don't know me. Nobody knows me. Why do people think I know me?" And there was a pretty excellent bit towards the end when Bray apologized to Braun because he now knows the next step is the Fiend coming to absolutely savage this man. I just think it's a bit stilted because what we should be doing is saying, "Braun, just go out there and shout like the monster that you are. Do the whole get these hands." It's just, don't give him things to read. It doesn't work. I thought we were trying to get better at that and looking at individual talents going, "Oh, what works for this guy?" Not words on a paper. I am still intrigued about the match though. I have to give them their due. I'm intrigued about their match. I don't know how WWE is going to get out of this without pissing off half its audience. But that really is where all the fun lies. There's also a good bit when Bray tried to make Braun say "get these hands" and he wouldn't do it. Like baiting a fish. Through to the back next where Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak were trying to recruit a tag team partner for later. When they ran into Otis, they said, "Otis, did you hear what Baron Corbin said about you earlier?" He did not, because he was with Mandy Rose and they all walked off together. You knew what was coming. It was then Bayley and Sasha Banks teaming up to take on Lacey Evans and nobody meaner than Tamina, and I just can't help it. I love all of it. Somebody explain to me why, because I don't know, but it's getting enough. The SmackDown Women's Champion walked out looking like she'd just come from the set of Deep Space Nine, and I tell you, some of Bayley's ad-libs halfway through the match are absolutely brilliant. This was also a great example as to why WWE should have given Sasha Banks and Bayley a longer run as Women's Tag Team Champions, but let's just forget about that because it's still painful. Because Tamina is not going to win the championship on Sunday too, I don't like it either, she's my new favourite wrestler, but we've got to be honest, WWE decided to give her something here. Because after a lot of brawling and Lacey Evans and Sasha Banks throwing the punches, Bayley walked right into a super kick, right into a Samoan drop, and can you believe it, the meanest lady in the land, because nobody's meaner than Tamina, pinned the SmackDown Women's Champion. So now you're thinking, if she could win here, maybe she'll win at the pay-per-view. Because you turn into an old man when you're speculating, it is not going to happen. But we've planted the seed, unless of course now I get to Monday and I like a goof, because I'm throwing these predictions out like nothing, and I get it absolutely wrong. But I love it, I do. I love Bayley as SmackDown champion, I love her as a heel. Sasha Banks eventually will blossom into something, but we're taking our time. Lacey Evans is fine, and nobody's meaner than Tamina, so I ain't saying anything bad about her. Corey Graves then gave us a tour of WWE HQ, which of course is where the Money on the Roof match is gonna happen. And all I ask is that I get an extended period in that gym. I wanna see what other machines they've got. Then we kind of teased a falling out between Carmella and Dana Brooke, and that was really hard to care, because up to this point, they've only had a couple of tag team matches. Dana Brooke was like, well, some people didn't think I'd be able to qualify. Tee-hee-hee. And Carmella was like, oh, I knew you could. And Dana Brooke was like, tee-hee-hee. Everything's gonna be all right. I didn't get it. I like both of these women, but just don't do anything. Anyway, they both think they are going to get the briefcase on Sunday, and my predictions, which are live right now on WhatCulture Wrestling, say they will not. The hacker was back too after all of this, and how can you not be involved? It's just so clever and it's so obvious. He was talking about the SmackDown roster and showing all of these clips, but the main takeaway is you're meant to sit there and go, I wonder who it could be. And no, it's not CM Punk. Everyone keeps going, oh, it's definitely CM Punk. Of course it's not. The only reason we want CM Punk to come back, really, if you're honest with yourself, is for the huge pop he'd get, and he ain't getting no pop if there's no fans and there's no crowd. It is not CM Punk. It's probably Ali, which is good, but it ain't Punk. Main event was King Corbin teaming up with Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro to take on Drew Gulak, Daniel Bryan, and of course, mystery part of Osnes. Wasn't a mystery at all. It was clear as day. It was clearer than a James Bond movie. And it was okay. It was fine. It didn't really get me massively pumped for the pay-per-view, which is what the last thing on your TV show should do, but I still had fun. I was still entertained enough. Giving it up. I don't really know what to tell you. They just fought a lot. There were some fists that went into people's faces, and of course, eventually Drew Gulak walked into Baron Corbin's Deep Six, which sounds dodgy as all hell, and he lost. Because of course he did. In the hierarchy of WWE, Drew Gulak would be at the bottom. It was the aftermath, I suppose, that we should talk about more, because after Drew Gulak had just hurled himself at everybody, it left Baron Corbin in the ring to do his thing. And I got very confused, because he set up a ladder, and he started to climb as if he was going to get the briefcase. Then Daniel Bryan was back to stop him, and so was Otis. And every time they were alone in the squared circle, they tried to climb the ladder and get the briefcase. I was like, did you know it's not Sunday? And you know, everything you're doing right now is a waste of energy. You can grab that briefcase, but that's like me saying, I broke the deadlift record in my garage yesterday, but nobody saw. Doesn't mean anything. Unless it's under the official rules, you're just being weird. It was the King who was left standing tall at the end of this though, and yeah, he went all the way up and he grabbed the briefcase and celebrated like he thought he was Mr. Money in the Bank. I mean, do I need to, should I ring him? Should I ring Baron Corbin now? I don't have his number. There was also this bit where Otis was gonna climb up, but he broke all the rungs on the ladder, and I actually thought that was quite funny, mostly because of the way Otis sold it. I don't want that to become a thing on Sunday for a little bit of a ha-ha skit. So it was a slightly lackluster episode to lead us into Money on the Roof, but I'm so excited about that match, I'm okay with it, because 100% too, somebody is going off the top. If they don't now, I mean, there's even rumors out there that whoever did have to do it was a bit like, oh, I don't want to, it's a bit scary. So Vince McMahon, being the crazy loon that he is, said, well, I'll do it, and he threw himself off the roof. So let me know in the comments below who that's going to be. And in terms of the overall show, it does get an up. I really want fans back. Apparently we may not have fans for 2 more years. I'm gonna have to poke my eye out. Now, yes, like I say, please do leave a comment below and let me know who the hell is going off the roof. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling. Then go over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here. Click, click, click on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you very much for joining me. And yeah, this Miller shirt, I got it made years ago because I thought it was quite funny. It looks like the old Scratch logo. And then WWE saw I was trying to sell it. I wasn't even selling that many. I put it on a real sort of secret site and I got a cease and desist. True story, but I've got the prototype, John Cena, and nobody can ever take it away from me.